Everybody. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about some things that have been on my mind lately. This is only my second video, but it's something that I've thought a lot about. So in the past couple of months, as I've been preparing myself and doing what I need to do to get ready for this surgery and all the hoops I'm jumping through. I'm not going to edit this again, so I'm tired. It's the end of the day, as you can tell by looking at me. Whatever. So, as I mentioned in my first video, I'm 53 years old. And it's funny how when you get older, you think that you feel older. You think that things change inside of your mind or your chemistry or something changes, but really the only thing that changes is you're just getting older. Sure, when you get really old, the body starts to break down, or maybe your joints start aching, or arthritis, or whatever, osteoporosis, or all of those more geriatric kind of diseases, because the body's quite frankly getting old. So cells are breaking down and things change. But heaven forbid this is ever any different. But for the most part, what goes on inside of your head really doesn't change. You feel like you're the very same person. And sometimes you have to check yourself and say, wait, why am I thinking that way? Or why would I even... Okay, it's like this. So, like when you're in a public place and maybe you're waiting in line and you're by yourself and you catch the eye of a stranger and you think to yourself, I think they're checking me out, or I think that they like what they see, or I don't even know. Those kind of things happen. And then because inside of yourself, you have this image of who you are. And I think that image of who you are always remains young. and probably healthy and fit and whatever. And that's not all the time, but generally speaking. And so that doesn't go away. And as you get older, you still think that way. You still do things like that. And then all of a sudden, you'll take stock of it and go, wait, that can't be for real, because I'm 53 years old, and why would that 30-year-old man be looking at me that way? He's not. And so it's in my mind. I'm just thinking that's possible, and I'm not even explaining this very well, but it's just that though the body ages and you get older, the mind doesn't really do that. It stays young, which is good, except for what I have been doing for the last couple of months is looking at all your blogs, all your videos, all the websites, all the people that are going through this change, this weight loss surgery, to improve their health and improve their lives, and you are all, the ones that I've seen anyway, are pretty young. You're in your 20s or your 30s. You have young children still. You've got your whole lives ahead of you to enjoy this young, healthy body and go through what you go through. And so my husband and I went out to lunch today, and I was talking to him about this a little bit, about how he and I are both the same age. And so the big question is, when does it happen that we get old? So, and when we get old, does that mean we give up? Does that mean I'm 53 years old and maybe I'll be thin by the time I'm 54, and maybe it will give me more years to live, to see my children and my grandchildren and grow up, but is this just a waste of time? Have I wasted too much time? I don't know. It's just something that's really been bothering me, and I don't have cold feet. I totally want to do this surgery. But am I worthy to do this surgery? And I know that sounds crazy, but it's something that's had me concerned. Is this big drastic change that I'm about to, embark on, is it wise? My husband told me, he says, well, I support it because it's something that you want to do, but really in the back of my mind, I don't know why you're doing it. I thought, I love you just the way you are, which is nice, but I don't love me just the way I am. I've never loved me just the way I am. And I don't know, other than my body changing, will that go away? Will I always have something inside of me that I think is not worthy, is not good enough? This is for other people, but it's not for me, and especially not for me because I'm old. I have to say, ever since I've made this decision, and it's a really big decision, as you all know who have been going through this, I feel selfish. I feel like I'm being very self-serving. I'm spending the money and I'm taking the risk and making the sacrifice, but I'm doing it because I want it and I don't care what anybody else thinks. I want it for me. And let me tell you, that's not an easy thing for me to do because I think I've always been the one who gives, and I'm fine with that. I don't like to take. I'm not one of those kind of women that the world has to revolve around me. I let it revolve around others. And so it's a really, really hard thing for me to make a decision this big and stick to it without backing down. And I think that the reason, maybe that's the way I've always been, and the reason is, or that's one of the reasons why I've carried all this extra weight all my life. And am I going to be able to adjust to the new me that's smaller and has that off her back? Will I know who that person is? Will I be happy with that person? It's heavy stuff. It really weighs on my mind. And I don't have the answers. But I am so tired of living in this big body. I'm so tired. You know, I have been a large woman. Wait, back up. I was overweight as a child. I was overweight as an adolescent. I was overweight as a teenager. I was a young mother with excess weight. I entered my middle ages overweight. I have been over 200 pounds for probably 25 years. That's not great. The last time I was under 200 pounds was that before the birth of my third son. And I had gone to Weight Watchers prior to my pregnancy, and I was about 205 pounds when I joined Weight Watchers, and I lost down to, I don't know, maybe 149, 150, 155, fluctuating around there. And I actually lost it quite quickly, but the magic number was 139, and I couldn't get there, and I gave up. And I was pretty darn close, though, and I was thin and healthy, and I think that I actually got pregnant the third time as a way to get out of being this thin person who I didn't understand, this thin person who, like, I've lost the weight, where's the party? And there wasn't. There was still dishes to do and diapers to change, and a husband who just didn't really seem to get it. I'm not married to him anymore. And then I got pregnant with my third son, and I delivered him, and I weighed about 185 pounds. And we made a big move about 7 months later across 3 states, and all the security that I had went away, and things changed. But I started to put the weight back on, and I got over 200 pounds, and I joined Weight Watchers there. We lived in Arizona, and I joined Weight Watchers there probably 4 or 5 times. And I think once or twice I might have dipped under 200 pounds again, but I was up around 230, 240, 250. Fast forward to now, many, many years later, and I'm right now about 249. My highest weight ever was a couple of years ago, and I was up around 270. I was able to, get down to 249 on my own, but it's taken me a few years, and not really very successful. I've done a lot of things to try to lose weight and lose a little, gain some back, lose a little, gain some back, but I've still been able to, for 2 years, keep down to 249, but I can't seem to get any lower than that. And, the health isn't good, and life is just not as rich as it could be. And I want to still do things. There's still things I haven't done because I sit on the sidelines letting life go past me by. I go to work, I work hard, I come home, and I stay home. And I'm happy to do that because I don't want to be around people. I don't want to, I don't know, I just kind of depressed, I guess. And anyway, this is a downer kind of video, but I've just been introspective as to why do I feel like I deserve to do this? And I'm sure a shrink would have a good time with my brain if I really, really opened up and let somebody in there, but I don't even know where to begin. Anyway, so with those thoughts, I don't know if anybody sees these videos, and quite honestly, I understand if I'm not embraced in this community, because I do seem to be a lot older, and maybe you think because you're younger you can't relate to me, but just understand that whatever's going on outside of here, the wrinkles, the gray hair, the older woman, what's going on inside of here is no different than you. My mind is still 21 years old. Still think the same thoughts. Still want the same things. I'm just in a different phase in my life. And I could really use the support if anybody out there is interested, because this is a really hard thing to go through alone. And for most of the part, other than my husband, who knows about what I'm doing, very few people do, and I think I need the support. So if you want to, if you're interested, please, say hi, leave a comment below, and I will do the same for you. Anyway, thanks for listening, and you all have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.